A live look at both Michigan State and the University of Michigan. Classes are already underway there and closer to home. Oakland University starts tomorrow while students focus on school, sports, extracurriculars, and more. Many are trying to find ways to bring down the student loan debt before becoming overwhelmed after graduation. Let's talk some numbers. Coming from the Education Data Initiative, here in Michigan, it costs about $26,000 for 1 year at a public university, meaning your four-year degree can cost more than $100,000. And that's a lot of money for families. So many students apply for loans to help pay for school. In Michigan, about 32% of undergrads take out student loans with an average loan of about $16,000. Last year, nearly 200,000 Michigan students borrowed more than $2.5 billion in loans. So what can we do to help soften that blow when you go to apply for both federal and even some private loans, or trying to understand how to navigate scholarships? Nicole Boelk is the Director of Financial Aid and Scholarships at Oakland University. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us. No surprise, students need some help paying because things are expensive and, revenues or their pocketbooks aren't as large as they used to be. What's your suggestions in terms of just starting to navigate what the options are?
Sure. Thank you for having me this morning. We definitely know that financial aid can be a complex topic for families to navigate as they explore higher education. And the one piece of advice that we would have for everyone who is eligible to complete a FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, is to make sure you do the FAFSA every year. The FAFSA becomes available on October 1st, and that is the tool that we use to package all federal grants, state of Michigan grants, such as the Michigan Achievement Scholarship and other grant aid. And many schools use that FAFSA for their institutional funding. That FAFSA does help us to drive down debt, but also gives us the ability, if we need to package a student with student loans, to offer those federal student loans to students.
So first, in terms of navigating the loans themselves, there are lots of different options. Some are through the university, some are private. Do you have a suggestion on which are better, or at least how to understand which is better for you?
Yeah, good question. So we always encourage students to borrow from the federal direct student loan program first. For undergraduate students, there are both subsidized loans and unsubsidized loans that students can qualify for based on their financial need. The FAFSA is what makes students eligible to borrow those loans, and we would encourage that borrowing first because it typically has better loan interest rates and forgiveness options. Students would complete the FAFSA on the website that you're showing, studentaid.gov, and then they would work with their schools on the process in order to accept any student loans offered to them. After the student loans, the federal direct student loans, there are other options, and that's what we would explore next. Those could be through the form of Parent Plus loans for undergraduate students. There are some institutions who have institutional loan programs, and then, of course, the private loan programs to supplement anything additional that might be needed.
Sure. Of course, another form of financial aid is scholarships, and I know there are hundreds and thousands and millions of them available, but finding them can always be tricky. What's your guidance there?
Yeah, so for new students coming right out of high school, your best source, other than the institutions that you're going to be attending, is to work with your guidance counselors and your schools. There are many community organizations who are very generous, and we would encourage students to take advantage of those resources coming right out of high school. But additionally, every school has a different process for scholarship aid. So here at Oakland University, ours is an automatic scholarship process for the majority of our scholarships that our students automatically qualify for as they're admitted. But we have additional opportunities from generous donors as well. And we launch an application tool every year. So it's important for students to be talking with both their admissions offices and their financial aid offices to maximize the amount of scholarship available to them. But then in addition to scholarships, many of the institutions, including Oakland University, offer free tuition programs. Again, for us, that is through the FAFSA application, and we do encourage that FAFSA for every student so that they can maximize the amount of scholarship and grant aid available.
I'm seeing a theme here, Nicole, something about a FAFSA. Okay, we're going to take a short 90-second break. When we come back, I want to talk more about finding those scholarships and how to start repaying those loans. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody. A live look at U of M right now. We just talked about the way we can apply for financial aid and how student loans can help. And now we want to talk about kind of what happens after graduation. That's paying off those loans. Before we get there, though, I do want to talk to Nicole Boelk with the Oakland University about the repayments here. So we've got student loan debt totals a whopping $1.8 trillion, not including $140 billion in private loans. In Michigan, students owe about $52 billion in federal loans. It's a lot of cash, Nicole. What's your advice? I know this isn't your problem, but I'm sure it's a question that you always have from students. The best way is to start paying some of these loans off.
Yeah, so of course, when students are in school, we want to work with them closely to maximize the amount of grant and scholarship aid to keep loan debt as low as possible. As you said in your intro, here in the state of Michigan, that average student loan debt is about $16,000. And we would encourage students who are in school, if you're able to make any sort of payment towards your tuition, to do so, or if you need to borrow, but you're able to pay on your student loans while you're in school, to also take advantage of that repayment. There's no penalty for early payment on those student loans, and keeping that loan debt as low as possible is a good thing. But once a student stops attending school or graduates, they will start repayment on those student loans 6 months after they stop attending. There are several different repayment plans that a student can choose, although they're changing slightly as a result of the most recent legislation. But students can qualify for either a standard repayment over a set number of years, or many graduates and students, former students, are opting into income-based repayment plans, which cap the amount of a student loan payment at a 10 to 15% of discretionary income. What we recommend the students, of course, is to always keep your loan debt as low as possible, but then to work closely with their student loan servicer. And they can find information about their student loan servicer out on the studentaid.gov website. The other thing with students that we want to work very closely on is studentaid.gov is for their federal direct student loans. But if they have borrowed from other places, such as private loan lenders, they may be making two payments. One to the federal government through the studentaid.gov website, and the other to their private loan lender. So it's important for students to keep track of where they're borrowing from so that they can make sure they stay on track for on-time payments.
So, Nicole, you are a wealth of information. It seems like you know everything, which is incredible. Are we able to come in and talk to you? And I know you're for Oakland University, but does Oakland and do the other Michigan institutions, do they have like counselors in terms of the financial aid just to help us walk through this?
Absolutely. Here at Oakland University, we have many advisors who are ready, willing, and able to help students. We are wanting to make sure we can help with everything from understanding how to pay for school, completing that FAFSA, understanding your financial aid offer, and then also understanding repayment options when a student graduates. I know here at OU, we offer in person, via telephone, virtual, scheduled appointments in the evening hours. You know, we're doing whatever it takes to make sure students are ready to be successful, not only when they're in school, but also upon graduation.
So when you have these appointments, let's say it's face-to-face and a student comes to see you at 6:30 at night because that's the best time to get in, do you see kind of a weight lifted off their shoulders, or at least less of a burden because they understand the process?
Yeah, student financial aid can be very confusing for students and families. And oftentimes, when we can break that information down into bite-sized chunks and to help individuals just get on a path of navigation and on a path with the student loan programs of repayment, we certainly can see the stress level of those individuals come down a little bit into a more manageable situation for them and their family.
Yeah. Okay. Nicole Boelk, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure the phone is going to be ringing off the hook here any moment because you've good luck because you've got school starting tomorrow.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you.